Ah, the apartment hunt. We've all been there, right? You're scrolling through what feels like a million listings, your calendar is just jammed with visits, and you're stuck in that classic tug of war between what your budget can handle and where you actually want to live. It can feel totally impossible. But what if finding a great, affordable place didn't mean you had to sacrifice everything?
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Is a place that's both comfortable and affordable just some kind of fantasy? Well, the answer is no, it's not a dream. Finding a great spot that doesn't completely drain your bank account is absolutely possible. You just need the right game plan, and that's exactly what we're going to lay out for you today.
So, here's our plan. We're going to start with that overwhelming feeling. You know the one. Then we'll redefine what cheap really means, break down the different kinds of apartments you'll find, and give you a smart playbook for your search. After that, we'll help you pick the perfect fit, and finally, we'll get to the best part, the financial freedom payoff. Okay, let's dive right in with that feeling of being totally lost in a sea of apartment listings. You feel the pressure, right? And it seems like every single option is some kind of compromise. It's a huge struggle, but believe me, it doesn't have to be your story.
Look, if you've ever felt that deep frustration juggling all those tabs on your browser while your bank account is practically yelling at you, I want you to know you are so not alone. This is a super common feeling, and just admitting that is the very first step to getting a handle on this whole process.
All right, now it's time for a little mindset shift. Let's talk about the word cheap. It kind of gets a bad rap, doesn't it? We hear it and immediately think of bad quality or giving something up. But we need to flip that. A cheap apartment isn't about settling. It's about being strategic. It's about making a smart choice that actually sets you up for a way better financial future. But that brings up a really crucial question. When you're looking at your options, you gotta ask yourself, is the money I'm saving on a cheaper place really worth it in the long run? And the answer is a huge loud yes, especially if your main goal is financial freedom. I mean, think about it. For most of us, rent is our biggest single expense every month. If you can shrink that bill, that means less stress and way more money for the stuff that actually matters to you, whether that's traveling, saving for a goal, or just having some peace of mind. So with that new mindset, let's get practical. Before you can find the right deal, you have to know what you're even looking for. There are basically three main types of apartments out there, and knowing the difference is totally key. First up, we have the unfurnished apartment. This is your blank slate. The rent is almost always lower, but yep, you're the one bringing in everything, from the bed all the way down to the toaster. The big advantage here? You have total control, and you can really manage your costs over the long term. Next, there's the furnished apartment. This is your just bring your suitcase option. It's got the basics, a bed, a sofa, maybe a table. It's perfect for anyone who values convenience, or maybe you're just moving for a short time and don't want to buy a ton of furniture. And finally, you have the serviced apartment. Think of this as the all-inclusive, almost hotel-like option. You get the furniture plus services like housekeeping and maintenance, and a lot of the time, your utilities are all rolled into one price. It's the ultimate convenience, but you can bet that convenience comes with a higher price tag. Okay, so you know the options. Now, how in the world do you actually find these places? Let's walk through 4 really powerful methods that'll help you find those hidden gems that most renters just scroll right past. First, the online sites. You gotta be strategic. Use those price filters like they're your best friend and set up instant alerts, because the really good deals, they're gone in a flash. Second, social media. You know, those local rental groups on Facebook? You can find listings straight from landlords and skip the agent fees. Third, don't sleep on the old school stuff, like local classifieds. You can find some solid and often negotiable options there. And fourth, the most powerful tool you have, word of mouth. Seriously, tell everyone you're looking. The best deals are so often the ones that never even get advertised. All right, so you've used these methods, and now you have some options. This is the moment of truth, making the right choice. This is where you have to weigh what you need right now against your long-term money goals. It's that classic battle, convenience versus cost. And for a lot of people, the decision really comes down to this one question. Is the convenience of a furnished or serviced place actually worth paying that higher rent every single month? Let's break it down. So here's the trade-off, plain and simple. On the one hand, you can move right in, you don't have to spend a ton of money on furniture up front, and it makes budgeting easier. But on the other hand, you're paying more in rent, you can't really make the space your own, and honestly, it's not the best move for long-term savings. It all comes down to what you need right now versus where you want to be later. And this really says it all. Short-term rentals are great for flexibility, for sure.
But if you look over at long-term rentals, that's where you build stability and see some serious savings pile up. If growing your wealth is the goal, choosing a long-term option is almost always the smarter financial play.
And that brings us to the absolute best part of all of this, the payoff. Because making a smart choice about where you live isn't just about saving a couple $100. It's about completely changing your financial reality for the better.
This is what it's all about. This is what you get when you rent smartly. More savings, which leads to real financial freedom, and that freedom means less stress every single day. Your budget gets simpler, and all of a sudden you've got room for a better lifestyle, whatever that means to you. This right here, this is why we're doing all this work.
You know, the main takeaway is this. Finding a cheap apartment doesn't mean you're settling for less. It just means you're finding a place that's comfortable, affordable, and actually fits your life. This whole thing is about empowering yourself, not about making sacrifices.
So, I want you to know this. Your perfect, affordable, comfortable apartment, it is out there. With the right strategy, you can find it. The real question isn't if you'll find it, it's what are you going to do with all the freedom and peace of mind it gives you when you do.